Thank you for listening to another episode of TeeVo The Beard. This episode has been brought to you in part by social support from Mark Gunn. Find out more about the Kelp Father at markgunn.com and look him up on iTunes under Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. It's also been brought to you by support from Blame Your Brother Podcast. You can find out more about them at bybpod.com. And also, of course, we'd like to thank all of our lovely listeners. Thank you and enjoy the show. Welcome to another episode of TeeVo The Beard.
You can't see it, but I am TeeVo, and that is the beard.
And what are you eating today, TeeVo?
Well, we're going to go into a segment of What's Our Snack?
What's in your mouth?
I am eating Hershey's Cookies and Cream Pudding.
And I am eating a Laura bar, or at least I call it Laura bar. I was discussing this with a fellow staff member earlier. He kept calling it Lara.
I've always known it as Lara.
Okay. I'm the only one who calls it a Laura bar, then.
Well, there is no U in there.
Oh, that's true. Well, there you go. I just learned something new.
All right.
So you have Hershey's. I have a quote-unquote healthy choice for my snack, and then, of course, my coffee. And that's what's in our mouth.
All right.
Until next week.
So that was What's Our Snack.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go on to Get to Know Your Podcasters. This
is
kind of a weekly thing we've been doing because...
Well, because nobody's complained about us doing it yet.
Nobody's complained, and let's face it, we need to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and I have listened to some other podcasts where I've listened to a podcast where they do an entire episode, kind of talking about themselves.
Oh, listeners, that is not out of the question for us.
Yeah, but at least because one that I've listened to before, and I enjoy her podcast. It's called Little Geek Lost, but it's just her.
Right.
So there was like nobody to ask questions. There was no discussion in there.
It was like a one-man show.
Right, yeah. So while it was interesting...
One giant monologue.
Right, yeah. While it was interesting, it's not one I would necessarily go back and re-listen to. Hopefully people would go back and re-listen to some of these to learn maybe why we have certain opinions based on things we like and don't like.
Well, if it helps. We haven't dedicated an entire episode to it, so there's other stuff to listen to.
Yeah. So,
but again, like I said... We're not ruling that out yet.
Yeah. Like with this one, they will get to hear our thoughts about the iZombie episode.
Yes, but we only have 2 more weeks of that, so...
Yeah. So you've been warned, audience. You have been warned.
You will get to know us.
Yes, you will get to know us whether you like it. We'll get to know us.
Yes.
Yeah, we're learning.
I have learned things about you.
Yeah, ditto. Yeah, I've learned things about me.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, in true fashion, we're going to go with some softball questions, trivial, and we're...
Work up from there.
We're going to go into the deepness.
Yeah. So I thought about this one, and this one's very, very easy.
It's your turn this week.
Yeah, it's my turn. This one's going to be a very easy one, but can bring up some discussion. So growing up, I grew up around exotic animals. Wallabies, muntjacs, rhea, emu.
Were you born in Australia?
No. Not all of the animals were Australian either. But I did grow up in the middle of nowhere, and it gave us the freedom in big quotation marks there, to...
So, when you got older, was the sight of a dog just boring?
Oh, no, that was more fascinating.
Really?
Yeah, because...
So you're saying a wallaby was the norm.
Right.
And a dog was just like, what is this magical creature?
Basically, yeah. It was like, oh, you mean you have an animal that will come up to you and do what you want and all that? And instead of just kind of...
The wallaby did not?
Most of them didn't.
Oh.
The ones that we hand-raised, you could kind of get to come up to you. But it's not... They don't give you the same interaction that a dog does. And since they are more closer to their wild ancestors, they will run off and care less about you. So
they want to join their clique.
No, mob.
A
mob. A group of wallabies is called a mob.
Well, see? Learning.
So there you go.
Learning.
There you go. We're nothing if not educational here.
Yeah.
So if I could have my own petting zoo, that would be what I would go back to. Now,
the one you grew up with.
The one I grew up with. Now, assuming that you grew up with regular animals, if any.
Yeah, sure.
If you could have your own little mini zoo, what kind of attractions would you have there, animal-wise?
I've always been fascinated by ferrets.
Okay.
Nothing, particular. Just, you know what? Scratch that. There is something particular. Kindergarten Cop.
Oh, yeah. Excellent film.
I've always kind of wanted a ferret since then.
Mm-hmm.
Why I don't have one now, I heard it is not like Kindergarten Cop. They are not as easy to take care of.
Right, yeah.
Particularly the smell.
Yeah. Oh, no, the smell is horrible.
They're
essentially little weasels.
I've never actually interacted with a ferret.
Mm.
So mostly we're just talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger's ferret here.
Yeah. So if you could have his particular ferret.
From Kindergarten Cop.
Right.
Then yeah. Let's see.
Anything in the more exotic category?
My parents do own birds.
Mm.
I don't like them, so I'm not putting that.
I'm not a bird person.
I just don't get the appeal.
Kind of like fish. I don't get
fish. Sure.
I don't get it though.
It's like pet furniture.
But okay, I can understand that.
But I actually grew up with fish my whole life, and I never particularly liked them, but I don't mind them.
Right.
It is a good set piece, so that's why I call it pet furniture.
I'm gonna start using that now. Yeah.
But I don't. So sure, I would put some tanks in there with some exotic fish.
Yeah,
why not?
Because I'm definitely more in the category of fish or food, not friends.
I see. But birds, yeah. That draws the line. That's why when I go home to my mother's house, it's like, why don't you just get more fish?
Yeah.
Why are there so many birds? What is the point? Let's see. So no birds. So in your imaginary petting zoo, do I know how to take care of something?
Oh yeah. This is like the perfect.
So it's not like today, like someone is listening right now. And said, "Congratulations, you get everything you asked for."
Right.
If that were to happen, I would sell them immediately,
or be eaten by some of them,
or be eaten. Yeah. So in this perfect
world, you know how to whatever. But it's only the animals you pick. Like if you came over to my zoo, you couldn't like tame a wallaby automatically. Right. It's not all animals. It's just whichever ones you pick.
Let's see. Giraffes.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah.
No particular reason, because why not? So I have a ferret, fish, giraffe zoo.
Nice.
And I have regular pets like dogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would assume I would give the dogs the responsibility of keeping me really company.
Right, yeah.
Because they will be in said house.
You're not going to have a giraffe snuggling with you, no?
Never say never.
Yeah.
But
typically they're not known for it.
Unlikely not.
Right. You may get licked by a giraffe.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want anything that could kill me.
Right.
Even though I can tame it. Siegfried and Roy.
Oh, yeah. You say something wrong to that lion one day, and that's it right there. It.
But, how often do you hear about giraffes attacking people?
Right.
At least on purpose.
Hypothetically, you could possibly get trampled by a giraffe, but it's very unlikely.
That's what I mean, on purpose. You could. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
Again, never say never.
Those fish could kill you somehow.
Those fish could kill me.
So good zoo. Very
good zoo. I think a very tame one. Not the most exciting. So I won't be attracting all the children.
Right.
But I'd be happy.
Yeah. One also, it's not necessarily. It's more of a personal zoo.
There is a giraffe outside, right?
Right. There's one tapping on the window outside, just like I see you. I see you, TeeVo.
All right, let's go.
You think we're not dangerous? Come on, come at me.
All right, or it'd be like tapping on the window. Come on. All right, let's go. Let's go home.
Yeah, you just hop on his back.
You summoned me.
Yeah, right. You asked for a giraffe. I'm tame.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So what's your next question?
So my next question.
Because we have asked these questions. We've gone on a new trend where we ask the questions before the recording so that we're not completely caught off guard. Yeah,
but especially since we're going with the deeper ones.
Yes.
When we're asking about the zoo and all that, I never got any of your answer previous to this conversation. I asked you the question, but we didn't really discuss it.
Oh, because I didn't really have an answer.
Right.
But you told me.
Yeah.
And I had, a couple days to kind of mellow over it.
Yeah.
So your next question.
My next question, this one does go a little bit deeper.
Okay.
Because don't worry, audience, we will talk about Adam West. I'm going to kind of segue into that with the next two questions.
All right.
So if you could either bring a musician back from the dead or prevent them ever dying, you can pick one or the other, who would it be and why?
Well, I'm going to answer it twice.
Okay.
One in both scenarios.
Okay, fair enough.
First, before I do that, what are yours?
Well, mine, if I could prevent someone's death, it would be David Bowie.
Okay.
And the reason why is very selfish. I just want David Bowie to be on this earth again.
What if he never makes more music?
Don't care.
What if he never makes more movies?
Don't care.
Don't care?
Don't care. Just, I think that in some way, the world was a better place having Bowie in it. Mm-hmm. And some people feel that about Prince, Michael Jackson, whoever, but Bowie is mine for that one. As far as making music...
so someone you would resurrect.
Someone I would resurrect would be John Lennon.
Really?
But not as a Beatle.
Okay.
With his solo stuff, because...
So, before he died. Like, right before he died.
Right before he died, yeah. So, in a way, I would be, preventing it by resurrecting him.
However, but if you resurrect him today, he died a long time ago.
36 years ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
I would be curious to see what he would look or do today.
Yeah, now let's assume when we resurrect these people that they are normal human form.
Yes.
They're not zombies or anything like that.
However, like I said, he died a long time ago.
Yeah, but
I think he would have stuff to say about today.
And that's why I want to bring him back.
Yeah.
Because the stuff he was saying in the 60s and 70s, I think his voice could be used nowadays in a similar fashion.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
And we always try not to get political on the show, so we'll leave it just at that.
But I mean, well, that's really anybody. I mean, music is a reflection of what people see, whether it be political or just pure art.
Yeah.
It is a reflection. So he did have a voice.
Oh yeah.
And he did some weird stuff too. So you know, let's not just always say he was.
But I like the art stuff too. So.
We're not just hating him for only the high hitting stuff. But the weird stuff was good too.
But I would be disappointed if he did come back right now and had nothing political to say. Or I would be very weirded out.
Well, how would you feel? You are responsible for John Lennon's resurrection in 2017. He comes back.
Yeah.
You're happy.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything though.
Yeah, then I'm...
Are you going to have a chat? Are you going to come up to him and be like, listen...
Mr. Lennon.
I just want you to know, I brought you back.
Yeah.
But I brought you back for a specific reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely have a talk with him. And just judging from stuff I've read that he's written, he could probably talk me onto his side very easily.
Or he could make a song about being resurrected by you.
Right, yeah, and then make me into the villain probably somehow.
It would be called The Beard.
It would be called The Beard, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And all of a sudden everybody would be shaving because it's like, no, down with the beard.
Let's see, mine, I'm going to start off with preventing.
Okay.
I would prevent Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Because if you recall,
you would prevent Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
just prevent him.
Well, if you recall, he died before his grand finale tour.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have gone.
Okay.
He could die after that.
Or just stop making music after that.
Or just that. Well, I think that was the plan.
Yeah.
That he was going to retire. But before his big last act, he, died.
Okay.
So that would be one. Just because, well, when I first started listening to Michael Jackson, it was in the early 90s, and I was from a small town, so the thought of going to any concert
was
just not happening, let alone a Michael Jackson concert.
Right.
Now, when his last hurrah was coming, I was able to go.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was going to be,
right.
But I had more of an opportunity than, say, his 1995 tour.
Right.
So that's just that. I would like to have seen it. What happened after that? Well, Well, I mean, life can move on.
Yeah.
They get the doctor that killed him. Yes, I said it.
Yeah.
We
all know it.
Can kill him after the tour.
Right. Yeah.
But I would like to prevent his death then and there in 2009, so I could go see it. So selfish, sure.
Yeah.
But an experience I was robbed of.
Yeah, and it's definitely meant to be a selfish question.
Yes.
Yeah, on both, whether you're preventing or resurrecting.
Now, resurrecting, I actually did give you this answer.
Okay.
Last year, there was a young singer who was killed at her concert. Her name was Christina Grimmie. And I would resurrect her because someone like a Michael Jackson or Prince or Whitney, David Bowie,
right?
You bring them back, their legacy is already intact.
Yeah, is it going to get better? Let's just.
It could get better.
It could, but it's great the way it is.
But they, they're legends. People mourn them for a reason,
right?
In that way, this young girl was taken from us without really having really made her mark yet. So I would bring her back because I did see her in concert. She wasn't the main act, but she was an opening. I remember I enjoyed her. That was
and there was definitely potential there.
There was a lot of potential. She
Mm-hmm.
was on The Voice, and she didn't win, but she had a good voice to go with it, and she had some.
Obviously, if she then had a career after not winning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know, she had a good persona. She had a nice kind of social media life.
Okay.
And it was really tragic when she was, killed by someone at her concert during a meet and greet.
Yeah.
So I would bring her back because, that's kind of untapped potential there. She could be great, but we'll never know.
Yeah. Kind of like the Selena of my generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was a close second.
Okay.
But I think because when Selena died, I actually didn't know she died until her movie.
Yeah.
The Jennifer Lopez movie. Mm-hmm. So needless to say, that was a very sad movie for me. Right. I had no idea what was happening.
That was an ending you weren't expecting.
I was one of the probably very few people that had no idea what this movie was about.
Yeah.
And I, watched it going, hey, this movie's awesome. Yay, go. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is real?
Yeah.
This is not just some fake story? Mm-hmm. Nope. So, yeah, something like that.
Okay. Well, to keep on this morbid track.
Good.
So, talking about these deaths, one like Bowie, for example, hit me hard because I've always been a fan of his music. Always been a fan of his work, movies, music, all sorts of things.
Right.
And while it hit me very hard, it's not the most devastating, famous death in my life.
Really?
That one goes. That honor, quote unquote, goes
dishonor.
Goes to Jim Henson.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
Because he is someone who shaped my childhood, but also shaped my way of thinking. Because growing up, I grew up in a conservative house.
Okay.
And there were a lot of things I was not allowed to watch.
Wait. You grew up in a conservative home.
I did.
But with all of these exotic animals.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's pick and choose your conservativeness.
Okay.
Yeah. So the conservativeness mostly lied within media.
Okay.
So music I was allowed to listen to, TV I was allowed to watch, movies I was allowed to watch.
Uh-huh.
That's not to say I didn't watch a lot of things I wasn't supposed to.
We all do.
Yeah. But anything that had the name Jim Henson attached to it, no matter if it was Muppets or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or anything that he had worked with, I was allowed to watch.
So your parents trusted the name Jim Henson.
Trusted the name Jim Henson. So he was a huge part of my life. But then I started doing, reading into his thoughts and his opinions and stuff like that, and how he never spoke down to children. And, his goal was wanting to make the world a better place. And, however you leave the world, leave it, I'm going to butcher his quote, leave it better than when you came in, sort of thing. I would
believe that's his actual quote. If you didn't say you were going to butcher it, I would believe that was it.
And just that sort of mindset, and he lived. And that's not to say he didn't do some bad human things in his life.
Yeah,
we all do.
Yeah.
But for what he produced, he was.
For those that say I don't lie.
Right. for the things that he was trying to produce, he did that. He created things like Fraggle Rock to show us this utopia world of three worlds living together, but not having to agree on everything. Just these little things, and the stuff he did, outside of children's work was just all awesome. And I'm glad his legacy is staying alive with things that PBS is doing, and also with the rekindling of things like Dark Crystal on Netflix, where they're using the Jim Henson Creature Company to do this, because his son Brian is keeping this legacy very much alive. And his son Brian has a good beard, but Jim had an awesome beard. and it's always bad to see a good beard go.
So when you first started becoming a fan of Jim Henson, was the beard there yet?
I remember more of Jim Henson with a beard than without one. And when you admire.
What about you? Like, did you have?
I'm getting to that. Okay. I think I was born with a beard. Okay. But when you admire somebody, when you really look up to them, you kind of want to mimic them in every way that you can. And while I don't currently grow my beard just because he had it, he definitely played a role in me going, okay, this is someone I want to inspire to. I need to look like this person. And
so he's one of your beard icons.
One of my beard inspirations.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is another question you asked me, and
and it's definitely a tougher one.
I gave you an answer, and I think I'm sticking with it. I have two.
Okay.
And
I'll allow it.
to give background, like you would, how you grew up and your beard, beard inspirations. I've always looked at. It's no secret that I look at actors as my heroes.
Oh yeah,
entertainers as my heroes, and I know there's much more important people who are doing way more important work. I recognize that,
right?
And that they should be celebrated. But to me personally, entertainers have been my heroes.
Yeah. Well, most people think of Jim Henson, they think of Muppets. So when I tell them that's my hero, they think puppetry. Yeah, and that's it.
But it stemmed from way back when. When I first watched Michael Keaton's Batman, I didn't want to just know that's Batman. I wanted to know who that was. Yeah. Under this whole illusion of a movie. Yeah. Under
the cowl, behind the mask.
Exactly. I wanted to know that his name was Michael Keaton, and it just always stemmed from there. And that movie came out in 1989, and I remember watching it in 1992. Yeah. So it's an early thing that's always been fascinating, and the ones that I really treasure the most are comedians, because as my favorite comedian right now, T.J. Miller, always says in his interviews that tragedy permeates our everyday lives. Comedy is the escape to that. It's an instant drug, an opiate to that. Yeah. So,
and if anybody has ever seen anything that T.J. Miller's in, you wouldn't think such a deep quote would.
Oh would man, come from him. To go a little bit on a tangent, I have seen T.J. Miller live 5 times. Even though he says some of the same things, I enjoy it every time. Because, again, it's an instant laugh. It's an instant joy we were feeling, whether it be in the 40-minute set I've seen him in or the 2-hour set I've seen him in. Yeah. And same thing with the comedic movie actors. So when they die, it's like that's going away. Yeah. So the first time I really felt that was when John Ritter died. Okay. And that was shocking because I grew up watching Three's Company. Yeah. Granted, I didn't really know many of the jokes, but John Ritter was the physical guy. Right. So when he did a pratfall, or he would fall backwards, or he would get wet and fall in water, that was funny to me. There was something likable about John Ritter's character. So naturally,
he had that goofball charm.
He did. He always did, and even when he did serious stuff, you believed him because he was himself just a great actor. Yeah.
Well, he always remembered him as being just very real, very realistic. Yeah. He never really went for these even the goofball stuff was you could see if he was just a regular person trying to make regular people laugh, he would be doing that same stuff. He wasn't going way above and beyond. Yeah.
So he passed away in 2003. He had just a freak heart condition. Yeah. That took him instantly. Could have been prevented from, what we know, but, at that time, it just happened. And I remember coming home that day and it was just a laughter was silence. Yeah. But the one that really hit hard in terms of that was Robin Williams. And, for everybody knows who Robin Williams is. Yeah. Everybody has a Robin Williams movie they liked. Yeah. And hate. Yeah. That's okay. But he was out there doing that. He was definitely the guy who, if you wanted to laugh, you can find something he did. Yeah. And,
And if you don't like a Robin Williams movie, then you haven't seen all of them.
Yes. There is something you have to like. Yeah.
And whether it's Good Will Hunting or Patch Adams or something
or
in the
Mrs. Doubtfire, which is a popular one for everybody. Aladdin. But, again, he wasn't perfect. He did some stinkers. RV. Yeah. License to Wed. But, hey, he was doing it.
Yeah. Hey, you got to make money.
You got to make money. Yeah. But it's just... he was always there doing stuff, whether I liked it or not. Material, not him, but the material. Whether I liked it or not, he was out there. And when I heard he died, especially the way he died, that was just
because it's
heartbreaking. Because this is someone who made a career, and from what we know of his personal life, was the main goal was to make people happy.
Right. And even at the expense of his own happiness.
Yeah. And I guess, in some, we're not going to get into too personal details, but, in some ways I can relate to that. You want to see the joy in others.
Yeah.
Oh, no, unless you're a raging douche.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand that, a lot of us put other people's happiness above our own, and sometimes it's minorly tragic, like you lose a parking spot or you're half hour late to something, and then sometimes it's extremely tragic, like with Robin Williams.
Yeah. So those two definitely, and there are other people who have died.
Yeah.
But I remember those two really significantly, just affected me that day. But that goes on another tangent.
But hold on, before you go on that tangent, because I think it'll connect to the Adam West thing.
It does.
Yeah. So, most recently, in the geek world, and also outside of that, we've lost Adam West.
Yes.
We have lost my first Batman.
My first Batman, too.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was a tie between him and Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I
had a little bit more. I had a few more years before Keaton.
You have a little more memory space. I remember they were very much neck and neck when it came to who was Batman.
But I remember growing up, going to my grandmother's house, watching Batman followed by the Monkees, and not realizing at the time I was watching it in reruns.
Oh,
so because we didn't have cable,
right?
She did, so I just assumed that if it was on a cable channel, it was a new thing.
I don't think I had that concept. I don't know what kind of concept of television I had.
Yeah.
But I don't remember thinking when I watched Adam West's Batman that was live.
Yeah.
But however, this is a funny story. I did think music videos were live.
Okay.
Don't know why.
Yes, yeah, I never made that kind of connection.
Because I remember watching the TLC video, Waterfall.
Yeah.
Are you aware of video and song?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I remember watching that video, and then later there was some MTV award concert, whatever, and TLC was performing, but one of them couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And I was thoroughly confused. I was like, wait a minute, you were just in this.
Right.
So what happened?
You couldn't just walk around the curtain to...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't know why I thought music videos were somewhat live.
Yeah. So yeah, until I was corrected, I thought that this Batman was my Batman, the one currently going on, not the one that went on decades earlier than that. Yeah. So yeah, definitely my first Batman.
He definitely was an icon himself.
And granted, he's done other stuff, but that is his main claim to fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was sad about it.
Yeah, no, he even when the Blu-rays and stuff were released, he was giving interviews and stuff like that. He was proud of his Batman-ness. But
while it's a very sad thing, he was 88.
Yeah,
and
that makes it a little easier.
When celebrity deaths happen, it's the real tragic sad category, or it's just the sad ones.
Yeah,
and the older they are, it's hey, he lived to 88. That's a pretty good life.
Yeah,
and we learned that he was suffering from leukemia.
Yeah,
and if that's not an escape.
Yeah. I mean, we're not trying to be too morbid and make light of it, but it's true.
But I mean,
versus being 21 and shot at your own concert.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if I'm 88 and I'm suffering from leukemia, I mean, I would be like, hey, okay,
yeah,
let's go. I mean,
bring the giraffe around.
88 years is a long time, and what he did and accomplished and things he's seen and done, you can't be sad at that.
Yeah.
So. But that goes on to my real tangent.
Yes, about celebrity deaths.
Something that grinds my gears. Do you hate it when people use celebrity deaths and make it about themselves?
For sure.
That's just... Yeah. I saw one with dealing with Adam West. It was okay, you can just talk about Adam West here.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't like when people make it like it was their celebrity. This was, me and Adam West, we were BFFs. We go way back. I know more about him than anybody else.
Yeah.
And then that turns into just let me tell you about Adam West.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I thought about it when I was getting ready to come here today. And, if, let's say someone like you went to a rally for a politician and you didn't personally meet them,
right?
But what they did inspired you. I mean, that's okay. You know, that's an experience. But if you just say you saw him once, you didn't meet him, but you got a picture of him from far away, that's
not the same.
That's a little different.
Yeah,
it's a little different. Like that's for me. I have a picture of Adam West. I did not put that on my, various social medias because that's not the exact way I want to remember him. Even though that was closest in proximity I got to him, but I always remember him as the way I want to, and that's just him as an actor in his young days as Batman.
Yeah. For this episode, the picture that I've chosen for the cover is a black and white picture of Adam West, and I don't know if he's putting on the cowl or taking it off, but it's just this very, almost solemn picture, but at the same time, I think it kind of encapsulates what I think when I think Adam West.
Right. And that's really, and sometimes I know when the shock of it happens, you don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But when it's about me, and not the person that just died.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people like to do, though. Like, Chris Cornell or whoever, when they die, all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I'm the biggest fan of them because I do this. No. Who cares about you?
Yeah.
And also, where was all of this fandom before?
Yeah. Just because you started listening to his music now doesn't mean he's going to come back.
Right.
Like, for me, I was sad because anytime someone of significance takes their own life, I mean, that just ups the tragic level to maximum. But I was a casual fan. I enjoy some Soundgarden. I enjoy some of his solo music. I know what I said when he died. The best memory I have is this James Bond song.
Right.
But I wasn't, putting posters on my wall or, making my phone background a various Chris Cornell picture.
Yeah.
I was a casual fan before he died. I'm still a casual fan.
Yeah.
But that I still recognize it's sad.
Yeah. I do want to put the caveat attached to this going, if you do discover somebody new, how can I word this? They're new to you once they die, that's fine. I'm not discouraging those people. But don't all of a sudden claim to be this uber fan that, has always loved them. Just be honest with your fandom.
Yeah. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
So enough morbid ranting here.
Yeah. So enough talking about dead people. Let's take a break and then come back and talk about dead people.
Excuse me! Spoiler alert!
And we're back.
What did you think of this episode? I liked it.
I liked it too. I don't think it was as strong as last week.
Really?
Really, because one of my major problems with this episode, and I'm not talking about major yet, was they tried to put too many storylines in this one, where in the past episodes they've had room. They could have taken some of this stuff and spread it out a little bit. But all in all, I think it really was a good episode.
I very much agree with that first point. Made me, the whole time while I was enthralled, I did not multitask at all.
Because you couldn't.
I couldn't.
You couldn't. No.
I do
Too
agree
much going on.
I do very much agree. Oh, so much of that could have been dispersed.
Yeah.
And again, with Liv's brain eating, she was still Liv, but she was doing...
I like this brain eating, mostly because it was a shared experience.
Oh my god, when all three of them, Donnie and Blaine and Liv, had one vision.
Yep.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That's when it didn't get old.
Right.
And even when Peyton was interrogating that guy's daughter, I was like, oh, okay. I dig it.
Yeah.
But I like that she was still Liv. She didn't go completely to a farcical version of the brain she was eating.
Right.
And that's, again, why I had such a problem with, a few of the brains she's eaten this season. Because, I've said it before, I don't even think they were doing what you were doing.
Right.
And I like that this, even, she was a conspiracy theorist. And the guy was a gun nut.
Yeah.
And, rednecky.
Yeah.
That those parts didn't show. Thank goodness.
It was more like, instead of them saying, okay, you're going to be this type of character, like the D&D person named Liv, Instead, in this episode, you're going to be Liv with these characteristics.
And that's what I like about the last 2 episodes with the brain she's eaten. She's Liv with these instead of this person named Liv.
Right.
Oh my goodness. You are on fire.
I try.
that is an excellent analysis of how I feel.
So one thing I also liked about this episode was, and it did exactly what I was hoping, it picked up exactly where the other last week left off. I mean, there was like nothing.
I feel like at least with the past 2 episodes, they have been listening to us.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Thank you, CW.
I hope you really listening us for the ride home.
Right.
Because starting this coming up episode and the one after that, it's a 2-part finale.
Yep.
So make it count.
Well, they're definitely giving me hope with these past 2 episodes because in the middle they were very weak, and I was wondering if this show was going to make it.
Well, even though you had problem major, which is what you told me before we started recording today, it still made somewhat sense for him to be there.
Yeah.
Same thing with Peyton. They didn't have the strongest ones, but they were useful.
But again, with this episode, you can tell when the writers want you to pay attention to Peyton by what she's wearing.
That's true.
Yeah, the more skin she's showing, the more crucial she is to the show. And that's not my opinion. Just go watch it. That's exactly what's happening.
I'm not seeing it, but I respect you for that. But nonetheless, I just appreciate that she is coming into use.
Yeah.
Because really from the beginning of the season,
she didn't have to be there.
Did not.
Yeah.
They tried to make it with the Robbie thing, but you didn't really care.
No, we didn't want to see her hurting Ravi, so we wanted her out anyway.
So it only took the whole season, but whatever, sure.
Yeah. One of the minor problems I had with this episode has more to do with the age that we live in now with the internet and knowing that shows are continuing and all that.
Okay.
And that's when the gun was pointed to Liv's head. There's like no danger there. There's no danger about if she was going to make it or not.
Okay.
So when the redneck threatens to shoot her, I wasn't worried.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that does, in my opinion, take away from the show. Where if we didn't know there was another season coming, who's going to live, who's going to die?
So if CW is listening right now, they're saying, well, that one's not our fault.
Right, yeah.
That is the network.
Yeah, and it's also just the age of the internet we live in, where they want their viewers to go ahead and carve out their time in the future. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and tell you it's coming back.
Right.
Now, Ravi was a little bit, I was worried about him.
Yeah.
Because he's not the lead title person in the show. So he could have been killed off. Thankfully he wasn't. But Liv, gun to the head, no worry. It's why I don't watch Gotham. Yeah, I'm not worried for Bruce.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What if at the end of it all it's not really Bruce Wayne?
Oh, don't put that wrench in there, then I might actually watch it.
But then the whole time I'd be thinking with him, what was the point?
Right there. But back to iZombie. I like anti-hero Blaine a lot.
Do too, yeah.
Yeah. So he's definitely, I don't think he can ever return to full good guy.
Right.
Yeah, we like him having that edge.
He's skirting on that line consistently.
Yeah, and I like that Liv hasn't fully accepted that. She still sees him as bad guy, because like when she's out there, when those two are out there talking to the Fillmore people, or the Graves people, that I always giggle every time they say Fillmore Graves on a zombie-based show. It's like, really, the pun's not a little too on the nose there. I told that one to Mrs. The Beard, like last week, and she goes, I never caught that. It's like, it's Fillmore Graves. It's right there. But when they're talking and Blaine tries to put his arm around Liv and she backs away, it's that little subtleness that this show has. And when stuff happens in the background and behind the scenes that we don't see but connects to the story, they're bringing that stuff back that I really enjoy about this show.
Now, I know a lot of, we kind of have things to say when there are certain fans that don't like, the journey to the end. And, I know we have been a vocal opposition to that. Yeah. In our talks of iZombie. Yeah. But when the journey isn't good, that's when I complain. Right. It could have been, 22 episodes, but if they were overall consistently good and keeping us, thrilled. Yeah. Who cares how long the journey is into the conclusion? Right. But when the middle, I don't even remember what happened. That's bad, and I will call it out on that.
The main things I remember is the stuff we complained about.
Yeah.
And that's not how a show should be remembered.
No. If this season could have been maybe 6 episodes, if they just took the best moments from those episodes, and combined it with whatever I assume we're gonna go see, in the next 2 weeks, who cares?
Yeah, it could have worked. Had the first 2 episodes, these 2, and then the last 2. Done.
And I hate to sound anti-American, but that's where I think British series excel the best at.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Sherlock. It's the only example that came up in my head at the moment, is 3 episodes. But they've taken what could be probably a 10 episode season, 20 maybe, and putting it into 3 really good episodes.
Definitely quality over quantity. Yeah. And I agree with that, because there's stuff that's been... they've only now gotten back to Clive's case with the family that was murdered. It's
exactly.
Have you not been working on this for the past 3 episodes?
Exactly. And I know they're trying to introduce characters. They're trying to give us, some arcs.
They're trying to introduce too many at one time, and too much going on.
And giving us arcs, but it's, if it's not memorable, then it's a waste.
Yeah.
So that's all I gotta say about that.
And along with the storylines and too many characters, I know that you don't have as big of a problem with Major these past 2 episodes as I do.
I don't, but I still recognize that it's the weaker of the plots.
It's a forced storyline. It's like, we have Major, we have to do something with him. Yeah. Let's give him a stalker that puts his stuff on Tumblr.
This is exactly what we were worried about when they brought him back to life, or elected not to kill him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's exactly.
We don't like human Major. Zombie Major is fine.
Well, the story they gave him. The end of season, towards the end of season 2, beginning of season 3, was the best way to go out if he was going to go out. Yeah.
And now they've got him, and they're like, oh crap, we got to do something with him. Let's give him a girlfriend, quote unquote, and make her really weird. Because I'm hoping that we haven't seen the depth of her sinisterness.
If that was it,
then that was a complete waste of character and time.
Yep.
Yeah.
You made a sex sport for nothing.
Right.
Like, you paid crew and actors for that.
Right. And to prove that CW can make a good, sneaky secret female, let's look at Ravi's new friend.
Now that. See, I knew something I like about her. I said this last week, and probably when she was first introduced. There was something about her. They cast her well.
Yeah.
She has the mysterious thing going on, but nice, quote unquote.
Right.
So... that was a Instagram account that I do not regret following.
Right.
Because I don't even know the name of the Major's girl.
Yeah, no, and I don't know the name of the character or the actress.
And I actually, come to think of it, I did forget the actress's name, plays Robbie's girl, but I cared enough
to follow her.
Yes.
Yeah. And that was one where, like, with Major's girl with the Tumblr account, it's like, okay, that's not a big twist and surprise and all that, but Ravi's girl, it's like, we knew so much about her.
Right.
To find out we knew nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whereas, like, they were trying too hard to keep Major's girl stuff secret.
Ella Cannon.
So go follow her on Instagram.
Shout out to Ella Cannon. You're awesome.
We'd love to have you on the show.
Yes.
So, before you get too big.
Yes. Come to Dragon Con.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that. Even though with our complaints about past episodes of iZombie, they still can surprise us.
They can, yeah. This episode, well, even last week. Remember, I told you I was seriously multitasking for the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Last 15, dropped whatever I was doing.
Right.
This time, I had no time to multitask.
They came out the door running on this one, and that's what we want from a show like this.
Well, let's think of it like this. The first 2 episodes were so strong. I'm assuming that the last 2 will be good. The past 2 we've talked about were good.
Yeah,
could have been an 8 episode. Like, take all the good stuff out of what was in between.
Yeah,
put it in a couple episodes. Oh man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, this has been the strongest season of iZombie.
Oh, definitely.
The first 2 episodes, bar none, is one of the strongest episodes. Period.
Yeah.
But what a major letdown.
Now, was this also an episode where, like myself, you didn't want it to end?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, even though the previous episode ended with more action than this one did, this one started with all the action. It was still one where it's like, I want to go ahead and know what happens next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week gave me that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just complained that the whole episode didn't give me that.
Right.
I just appreciated certain things.
And then Blaine's growling at the end.
They were lightly taking our suggestions last week's episode.
Right.
This week, they took a lot of them.
Right, yeah.
And I really, really hope the season finishes as strong as it started.
Oh, it has to, because just like any book or movie or something like that, it's the beginning and end that you remember the most.
And this season has made me skirt on the line whether I want to continue the show.
Yeah.
And I've gotten some flack on people.
Mm.
One.
Yeah.
But it's like, again, this goes back to our opening question. If I'm not getting joy from watching said things, I don't... Why?
There's other stuff to watch.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we were even talking about Supergirl like this.
Yeah. And thankfully, you know, they got me a little longer.
Yeah.
So I hope iZombie does what, you know, both Supergirl and The Flash did when I was skirting on the line. It's like, you got to give me a reason.
Because Legends has long lost you.
Legends never got me.
Right.
It just piqued a certain interest.
And once it had that interest, it was like, no, I'm going to let go of it.
Yeah, exactly. It had a finger.
Right.
It had a finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
And then they like, okay, they're done.
TeeVo almost liked us. We can't have that.
Yeah, exactly.
Push them away.
But there are a couple shows, you know, Fargo, for one, season 3. About the 3rd episode, I just kind of questioned, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
You know, I still kind of want to know what happened, but I wasn't enjoying watching the episode.
Yeah.
And again, if that's not giving me joy.
And that's why shows like this have to work harder, because even though this is a network show, most of us are still consuming it through like the CW app.
Exactly.
You know, so it has to compete with Hulu and Netflix and everything else.
Same thing. I was about to start the 2nd season of Masters of None.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't want to.
Right. Because we're not limited to 3 channels.
Exactly. But there are shows, like, I cannot wait to watch. When S.H.I.E.L.D. comes on, that is the first thing I think of when I go home.
Right.
Last Man on Earth, I can't get enough of that show. Right. Silicon Valley, like, I want to watch that show.
Right.
And I took a hard look at some of my viewing habits, and I'm cutting the ones where it's like, if I don't feel that way about a show...
Yeah. Well, with iZombie, like, the first 2 episodes, I was lucky enough to catch them live when they actually came on, and that was great.
Yeah.
When the 3rd episode showed, I think I ended up having to work that night, so I missed it. And so I watched it. It came on Tuesday night. I watched it Wednesday morning.
Right.
Lately, I've either watched the episode Thursday night or Friday morning out of fear that I would forget them, like some of these past ones.
I don't have a fear, but let's just say I don't watch it right when I get home.
Right, yeah.
If that says anything. So CW, with Supergirl, iZombie, and The Flash, they're skirting that line a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Well, okay, you know, I take that back. You know, I was still interested in watching Supergirl and The Flash as soon as I could watch it.
Right.
So let's just say iZombie.
But still, they were getting close to that line.
They were getting close to the line. iZombie's a little closer.
Yeah.
Little closer because, you know, the episode comes out on Tuesday. I watched it on Thursday.
Yeah.
So yesterday.
So you're not rushing to watch it.
I'm not rushing at all.
Yeah, this is Friday. I watched it last night. Because even though last week's episode was good, I was still afraid that it was going to go back to that forgettable formula.
So, yeah, I think everybody should really be looking at that. If you cannot wait to watch this, and if that feeling is not there, if you feel like it's a chore, not for you, and it's okay.
Well, I mean, even for
There's 11 billion things to watch now.
Right. Even to talk back on Legends, I was watching it, but at one point I had missed like 3 weeks, so I did a little mini binge. I wasn't like trying to catch it every single time it came on.
Yeah. So,
and I like the show.
so evaluate your viewing habits. I guess that's where that tangent went on.
Yeah. So, but all in all, I'm happy with these past 2 episodes. I'm looking forward to I'm not excited about the last 2 episodes, but I'm looking forward to them.
You know what? Because it's such a niche show, very few people we know really watch it. Right. Therefore, very few people we know will spoil it.
Right.
You know, if this season doesn't conclude with the way the last season ended, you know it's coming on Netflix like almost immediately once the season ends. Right. So
CW is really good about that.
CW is really good about that.
But which is weird since they're owned by CBS.
That's true.
Who hates Netflix.
but where I'm getting with that is like, do we have to watch them every week?
Right.
Can't we just wait a few weeks and then it will be uploaded and
and then we can pick and choose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's actually where the closest thing.
But don't make us do that, CW. Don't make us want to do that.
Yeah. Or don't. Actually, you know what? That's fine. You can make me do that. I mean, the fact that I'm still watching the show is a win.
Right.
Don't make me do what I'm doing to Fargo.
Yeah.
And Wikipediaing each episode.
Yeah.
Not even caring what.
And then the next step after that is just not caring about the show at all.
That's close.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's a mutual thing because I think the creator of that show has said he has no plans for season 4. I was like, oh, good. I wasn't.
You're like, neither do I.
Exactly.
But all in all, I think people should keep watching iZombie. Keep the numbers up for right now.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe the numbers are there because of Netflix. So we might actually be helping more if we do that.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how ratings used to be so much easier before all the streaming services.
Exactly. I know that's the old-timey network execs are saying that.
Right.
But before we end the episode, I want to tell you Happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you.
Are you going to tell your Yandu that?
I am, yeah. No, we're this is Friday. We're having him and his wife over Saturday for pizza.
Oh.
His request.
Okay.
Are
you making pizza or buying pizza?
We're buying it at Papa Murphy's. Shout out to Papa Murphy's there. We'd love you to sponsor the show with free pizza.
Yes.
Where it's one of those where...
Do they have other things like appetizers?
I mean, they have breadsticks.
Okay, breadsticks are fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to give us pizza.
Yeah. They have cookies. I mean, you have
breadsticks and cookies.
You have to bake them, but yeah.
Breadsticks and cookies. If you don't have to give us pizzas, but if you can give us those.
Yeah, they have edible cookie dough, so I mean, you don't even have to have it cooked.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, just pay us in that.
Yeah, who cares about pizza?
Yeah, but it's the type of pizza where they put it together and then you heat it up at home.
Right.
And Mrs. The Beard is an excellent cook. She can cook almost anything, and we were like, so what do you want for Yondu Day?
Yeah.
And he said pizza, so I was like,
okay, well that's your Yondu.
Yeah.
What are you having for said time?
More than likely, depending on the weather, we're going to go to Nature Reserve.
Okay.
I'm not going to give the name of it because we like to keep the secret headquarters a secret here.
Yes, even though we've said many personal things.
Oh, we've given tons of clues, and most people who listen to us know us.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can figure it out, but on the off chance.
Yeah.
On the off chance that I have a stalker out there somewhere.
But what are your Father's Day plans? Because you have baby beards. So
yes.
You qualify as father.
Yeah. So yeah, the plan is to go to the nature reserve, walk around, and go somewhere nice for lunch.
Yeah.
Not anything major though. But going to this place has kind of been the Father's Day tradition for the past 4 years. So,
really?
Yeah.
Will it continue?
I think so. I mean, it's a nice place. And
well, let me try to get you down again.
Okay.
What if Baby Bear decides one day she doesn't want to do that for Father's Day?
I know that will happen one day.
Are you prepared for that? Has that crossed your mind? How will you feel if it does?
I am not prepared for anything in my future as a parent. And to prove that, my daughter this morning went from 4 to 14 because I was trying to get onto her for talking back to Mrs. The Beard.
Whoa.
And Baby Beard goes, I know everything.
What did you do?
Well, I tried not to laugh because she's 4 and she's saying this in like this angsty teen attitude.
Okay.
It's almost cute.
But you know you shouldn't be encouraging.
Right.
So what did you do?
Well, I explained to her how she doesn't and she can't keep talking back to us. And then Mrs. The Beard, and this is where I messed up as a person. Mrs. The Beard goes...
Not even parent.
Not even parent. Mrs. The Beard goes, yeah, little Beard, nobody knows everything. And I chimed in, well, I'm pretty close. That didn't help
if
matters.
she talks back again, you are to blame.
I am to blame, yes. I'm to blame for a lot of things that she says, though.
Well, okay, well, nonetheless, happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Give my regards to Yandu.
Yes, definitely.
I just wanted to say that.
And if there's an Uncle's Day, then you can have a Happy Uncle's Day one day.
I think every day is a Happy Uncle's Day.
Oh, now a nice one-up me there.
Only because, there's no pressure.
That's true. Yeah.
It's Happy Uncle moment.
Yeah. So, but we'll see you guys next week.
And that's it for this week, folks. Thank you again for listening, and remember, you can follow us on social media. We are on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All you've got to do is go to one of those sites, type in "and the beard," that's ANDTHEBEARD, and you're sure to find us. We hope to see you there. Have a great week.